if you have it and you're using ClubRunner for your website, you can have it be your club's name. So our website is carbonvalleyrotary.org. There's a little technical stuff you have to do, but they will get it where it's pointed to that. So it doesn't say clubrunner.10089.ca or whatever it says. So you can have them do that if you have not already had them do that. You would call tech support and they would tell you what you need to do. And then the other thing you can do is up at the top, you can of course change what you want your tabs to say. We didn't want a lot of tabs. We wanted just a really clean look. This is a story I put in for just a real recent January event. And then we have a list of our local projects. So the ones that have a link will take you to that page or that story or something. Again, I haven't done a whole lot with this yet, so there aren't a lot of links, but at least it looks clean. And that's our webpage, okay? And let me stop share for just a second. I meant to go over the things that people said they wanted to know was how to communicate with your members and do emails, how to schedule emails, how to do dues, some stuff about the newsletter, how to like put photos and size photos, how to promote and enter events, how to organize your documents and files, how to navigate a little bit better, and this same thing, info and photos. Was there anything I missed that someone's like got a burning, I've got to know this?
Well, I just want to mention the Granby Rotary we just signed up for ClubRunner. So we're kind of going through this from scratch. We haven't moved our website over to it. So we have a lot of people here that just kind of want to know some of the basics and stuff like that and things like that.
Okay. Now, and let me tell you, Granby, ClubRunner will help you set up your website. So they'll help you do that, you know. Now, I mean, they'll do it even for you if you want them to, and you pay them a little money to do that, or they'll help you kind of have an idea of the best way to do it. So when I set up the one that for my club, you can see it, it's very simple. We started very, very simple just so we could have something up that was current and clean, and then we'll add to it as we go along. So I'm gonna go back to my club. So what you do is you log in. Your login is the same whether you're logging in for the district or your club. It's the same login. So this is the club's website, and then there's a district. So it takes you back to this same page. You can see it's got my name up here now. And then I go to the member area. And depending on your access, some of these might be grayed out. I'm the admin, so I have access to everything for our club. But not everyone, you may not want everyone to have access to everything. I would suggest you not. We have the full version of ClubRunner. There's a light version as well that we actually started with, but because we did want to be able to file documents and stuff, we got the little bit higher priced one. It was like $6 more a month or something, so we could have the full version. You'll see there's the membership manager is right here on the this second column here. And this is where you can add a new member. You can have what they call other users. Inactive or people who've been terminated. They don't disappear, which is kind of a good thing in case you want to maybe 2 years from now, you know, see if any of them are interested in coming back. They have friends of the club, so you can add friends. This is a dues and billing. Quite honestly, the person that asked about dues and billing, that's Granby. I know nothing about this. So I would suggest that you call ClubRunner Tech Support for the dues and billing. I'd look at the webinar first, and then I've never done this. I've never talked to anyone who has, so I can't give you advice on dues and billing other than call ClubRunner Tech Support. This RI integration is a really good one, and what it does when you click on it, and you do have to have it turned on, so it may not, quite honestly, I think it's turned on. You tell it what you want it to integrate, but what it will do is it'll compare what Rotary International has as members and what your club has as members. So these are all our club members here. And then if anything's different, it'll say members missing an RI. Okay, someone needs to mute their phone. So what I've done, okay, when you add a member to ClubRunner, you can tell it to also add it in RI. Well, we just had 2 new corporate members join, the fire department and the police department. And what we did was we got the chief is the member, but then they had 3 other officers, both the police and fire department, that are going to rotate and come to our meetings. Well, I wanted them to be able to get all the information. When you have a second about RA integration. Okay. I wanted all these people that aren't officially members because they're the extra people that these corporations are sending or organizations, but I wanted them to get the newsletters or emails or things like that. So I added them as an active member to ClubRunner, but then at the bottom, there's this little teeny box that says, don't tell RI about this member. So I checked that box that said, don't tell RI about this member. So all these people are listed in ClubRunner as members of my club, but they're not listed in RI as members. So that way they get all the information. So in this list, you would have active and honorary. You would put your honorary here too. So what was the question about RI integration, Granby?
So we don't want to have like, well, I want to make it easier on the users. And I was wondering, is there any way to integrate like calendar dates from your district? Because our district uses ClubRunner and then also Rotary International, so that we can see events going to one pane of glass that's coming up for district and international.
My understanding, someone did ask this the other day, so and events, so if you click this little events button up here, you'll see it says event planner. It has these different little things. So here's event planner. In my club, this is where we put all of our meetings and events and everything. This is the way we've happened to do it. My understanding is that the district events do not automatically show up in the clubs. So you would have to manually put them in. I have a calendar, a district calendar I can send you. to put, there's not too many more events. There's a district conference and stuff. But my understanding is the district does not automatically go to the clubs. ClubRunner said people don't like that. So that's not an option.
Bev, if you use this, does it automatically drop past the date, or do you have to go in and remove the?
No, it automatically drops.
Okay.
So you can see this says February 26th.
Right.
If I wanted to see something older, I could click view all events here, and you can see it. This is when we started in January 2018. What's nice about this, like this year, in 2019, we are not having bingo. There's a problem with the rec center and we lost our space. But let's say it comes back next year. Rather than retyping all of this, I can view old events. I can say, copy it. It'll come up and it'll say, copy of bingo. I can delete that copy. And then I would say save. And then I'll show you what it does. So see how this has, all these others have green? That means they're active. This one, okay, hang on. Where would we put our upcoming speakers? Okay, so this one has red right here. So I would open it. And you have a choice to edit the details, edit download files, things like that. I would go in here and edit the details. And right here, see it says active or draft. The reason it had that little red X is because it's still a draft, so I could change it to active if we were actually having this. You can put what kind of event, so if it's a club meeting, this happened to be a club event. I would obviously change, you know, the date to 2020 or 2019. I didn't fill any information out here, but if I had, it would copy whatever it says here. And then you can put your contact name, the location, and then down here you can tell it, do you want it to show on your homepage? Do you want it to show on your calendar or your event? Things like that. So actually I'm going to cancel this because I don't want this event in here, and it didn't save it. Now someone just asked, where do we put our speakers? My club puts our speakers right here in events. So what you can see is March 12th, we have Banner MD Anderson coming to talk to us. But you can, and the way our club has done it is if it says weekly meeting, we don't have a speaker, our member Gary Gorsuch is assigned to find a speaker for that week. And so that's why there's a name next to these. And so you can see we've got weekly meeting. We do have a few people if we're going to be dark and stuff like that. And so here, let me show you what that looks like in our calendar. So if you go to the calendar on our club, you can see this is February. So we just had estate planning. Depending on what you choose, so a weekly meeting is turning out to be gold color. An event or something is a different color. So depending on what you choose in that little drop-down box, it changes the color of the event. And so that's where we've put our speakers. Now, under events, it looks like there is a speakers tab. Well, this is really old. I have no idea what this is. This must have been, well, it's from 2013, so I don't know if this is when we had ClubRunner the first time, or I don't know what this is because I didn't do it. I also don't know where these show up. So again, this would be because I've never used this tab, quite honestly.
Beverly,
Uh-huh.
this is Susan.
Mhm.
There is a speaker widget, and if you choose to use the speaker widget, then it will show up on your web page wherever you put the speaker widget.
Okay, so what she's talking about is, remember I said these little white boxes are widgets. So like I could have, instead of having to go to our calendar and look at who the speakers are, I could pull and have an upcoming events little widget here, and it would show our meetings, or you could have a widget that says speakers and it would show your speakers. It depends on how you want to arrange your website. Thank you, Susan, because I didn't know what that was.
This is Jerry. I'm the one that asked about the speakers. Is it possible for you to do a really quick demonstration on how to actually do a widget?
Yep, I will be happy to do that.
Okay.
Yes. The other thing I did want to show you, though, there is this calendar recurring items. Now, the only thing we have is our board meeting, which under calendar, you saw it. It looks like the same color as an event, but I guess it's not. This is showing up every week, okay, every month as our board meeting. The reason we don't use this for our weekly meetings is because you can't change any information in it. It's got to be the same information every single time. And so I have asked them, ClubRunner, and I will ask them again. I usually spend about 2 or 3 hours with them at PETS. When everybody's in meetings, I go and sit with ClubRunner during PETS next weekend and tell them what I want, what's working, what's not working. To me, this is not working at all, because the only thing you can do is, like, you know, delete or not have a recurring event 1 month, but you can't change anything about it. So it makes it, so that's why I use the event planner for our weekly meetings, because we want to be able to say who's coming to talk. Like for the MD Anderson one, I know I've done this. In the event description, okay, someone needs to mute. I've put who's coming and who, the name and stuff like that, so that we know who the actual speaker is, not just MD Anderson. So recurring, calendar recurring, I was excited when I first saw it, and now I'm not. There's, it looks like, now I've never used this either, event planner email template. Let's see what that is. Okay, these are just, the system set these up. So you could email, you could, these are templates that they've set up for you that you could use for an event, I guess. Let's see what this says. Doesn't say much, but again, if I wanted to use that, I'd watch the webinar and find out. For the website, when you were talking about how do you add a widget?
Bev, one quick question, Will, quick before you leave the speakers. Yeah. Our current website, it emails our members, because our members are responsible for like 2. So we go in alphabetical order through the year, and they're responsible usually for about 2 of the Rotary meetings getting speakers in.
Right.
So our current website emails out when they're 2 months out from their date. Is that something that ClubRunner can do?
You can schedule emails. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to.
But it's not tied into the speaker section.
I don't think so. But again, I've never used the speaker section, so I mean, you can send emails. This was something someone asked, so since we're here, let me just go ahead and tell you. Under communication, here's email services. You can make custom distribution lists. You can have email templates, you know, and see right here under help, they have some of the help, the videos, the webinars that pertain to emails right here. You don't even have to go to the help section, which is right here if you don't want to. So that's a new feature. That's new. They haven't had that. So you can compose a new message. What it brings up, this is what it looks like. You put your subject in. I never do any of this stuff, but you can. You know, it would say, dear, the nickname and last name. I mean, I never put that in there. So I usually doing dear members or dear club presidents or something like that. But you can write your email. You can attach files. You can see there is a total attachment side, so you can't put giant photos here. You can make sure you're copied on the email. You can send a list of recipients, but you can also schedule. So I'm going to show you how to schedule. So over on the left side, this is where you say who you want it to go to. So if you just want it to go to everyone, you just check that little box. But if you didn't want it to go to everyone, you'd click that little box, you'd click expand, and maybe you only wanted to send it to your board members or something. You would just click the names of who you want to send it to, you know, and then you say done, and you can see it says 3 of 21, okay? If you had other users, if you wanted to email all your old terminated members and say, hey, we really miss you, come back, you could send an email to them. Club executives and directors. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. You can email all the presidents and all the clubs. Wow. So if you wanted to email every president and every club, you could click that box and there you go. Or if you wanted to email all the president-elects, there it is, or treasurers and secretaries. It doesn't have all the members, so you can't email everyone in the district, but you can email other club executives and directors. And this may only pertain to current, like I'm the president, so that may be why that's showing up. I'm not sure why that's there. But anyway.
Bev, coming from the district operations and district executive committee, if you ever have a desire to send it to a whole bunch of people outside of your club, you need to connect.
You need to get permission to do that. Yeah.
Or with Bev, because we try to hold down the number of emails that go out to different people in the district. Right.
You can just imagine if every club did that. That's why I'm so surprised that's even there. I did not know that was there. Well, that's kind of scary. So, you know, you type your message, and if you want to select a file, you just click that and you pick whatever you want to do. And then you can schedule something. So if you wanted to, okay, why is it doing that? You can choose the date and time, but why isn't it giving me the, I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, now it gave me the calendar. So I have no idea why it was doing that. But let's say I want to send this out next Tuesday at 2 in the morning. That's actually midnight, because remember, this is set to Eastern Standard Time and you can't change it. So if you want to send it at 2 in the morning, you put 4. And then you say send, and it would, yeah, I mean, I'm going to delete this because obviously, so you can see it says scheduled for, and there you go, and it's scheduled. Okay, now I'm going to delete this because I certainly don't want this to go to anyone. But the other thing is, if you've got an email and you really like the way you sent it before, you can make a copy. You would just want to change the people you're sending it to, because it's going to send it only to the people in 2018. Well, we have new members, so you'd have to update the people. That's a lot about emails. Is there any questions on that? You can see I haven't used this a lot for our emails, but you can. Okay.
Going back to the calendar for a minute.
Yep.
The yellow and the blue items, are the yellow items those that you enter or input manually, like your weekly meetings, versus blue would represent recurring items?
No, what happens is, here, I'll show you. I'll open this one back up again. So it's in the edit details.
Okay.
And it's this little drop down box. So if it's a club event, it came out a blue or a different color. It came out that kind of gray color. The club meeting, and it's the system assigns the colors. I didn't do anything to that. But a club meeting is turning out to be yellow. A committee meeting must be a different color. I know the official DG visit was blue because I remember it. So the system is assigning a different color to the different events. The recurring events were that little bit darker gray. Oh, this is a club meeting. So that's how it's doing it. So what you can do is just play with it and see what color it assigns. Or there may be something, again, there may be under the tech support, you know, where it tells you what those colors are, or ClubRunner tech support could tell you that too. Which color's going to come up depending on what you pick from that drop-down box.
Bev, where do you find the webinars for each one of these? Back at Help?
So under Help, right here, if you click Help, there's on-demand videos. Webinars, sometimes they're live. So if you just click on-demand videos, this is what comes up. And so this is, see, social media, ClubRunner 101 with Jeffrey. So if you've never used ClubRunner at all, you'd start with ClubRunner 101. They have website design. Oh, Zach's great. I know a lot of these people. Oh, see, here's dues and billing. So you could watch that first. Now this is a long one. Wow, 42 minutes. But you could watch it and see if that's what you want to use. I mean, everybody kind of does stuff different. The e-bulletin is what they call the newsletter. Site pages, I mean, so there's all of these recorded ones, and they're really good. And then there's also a search, so you can just put email up here or something, and it would show you all the different things. And then, wait a minute. So I'm still in Help. Webinars, let's see what comes up for webinars. So they also have some of these same ones, ClubRunner 101, the newsletter, that are going to be live that you could also join if you want to, so that you could maybe watch the recorded one first and then do the live one and ask your really specific questions, and they'll show you how to do stuff. So here's a dues and billing one coming up next week. So those are the live webinars. So all of this is under this help button, and the support center is, it has a little bit of everything, and you can just put, I need help with, we'll say email, and you know, the blocked email list is a real problem at the district. How do I send emails, new member email templates, email limits. There's, oh my gosh, there's 150 things about emails. Does that help to see that? Okay, so I was going to move on to the website because y'all asked how to do a widget. So you go to website and then website designer. And this is what's going to come up. Now, you can choose what kind of theme you want yours to look like. So this is our current, this is the one that we've chosen. I could change, and this is telling me this is highlighted, this is the color we've picked. I mean, I could pick a different one. Let's see, and that's really scary with that yellow line up at the top, but it changed the color, you know. They have other ones where it has a banner if you want to have logos. I mean, there's different themes that you can pick. Even me clicking these things, none of this is changing what's live, and it wouldn't unless I click publish. I'm obviously not going to click publish because I don't want to do that, okay? Your menu is that menu across the top. So we only have very few. We have home, our little happy dollars, which is obviously calendar. And so you can click to add a new menu item. So we'll say new item. And what you do is you can click and choose, like if it's a photo album that you've already set up, or these are the links across the top of your page. If you wanted a custom URL, let's say you wanted a link to your Facebook, you could click custom URL and then you'd put the link here. You know, again, of course, I don't want to do this, so I'm going to click cancel. Once you've made any changes, you have to say publish menu. It'll ask you, do you really want to publish it? And then there you go. You can also always preview what your homepage currently looks like to see if it came out looking the way you want it to. If you have too many tabs across here, you end up with two rows, and it starts moving all your content way down. So we really limited the number because we didn't want it to look like that. Okay.
So when you create the widget, where does it actually place it on?
I'm going to show you right now.
Okay.
So that's the menu.
Uh-huh.
You also have a footer at the bottom of your page. It says, you know, ClubRunner, if you ever want to have a contact name. Most of your content, though, is in this content section. And you click Edit Content. And so what you'll see here is these are the widgets, these little blue boxes, okay? So this Rotary links was something that was over here, and all I did was drag and drop it over here. So like if we wanted to contact us, I would take this and I would just drop it right there, and Then it's going to ask me, you know, what I want our contact us email to be. And I would put, actually it's info@carbonvalleyrotary.org. You can say if you want it to have a border color, if you want it to have a title, do you want it to have a background color? And I'll show you this. I've done more on the district site, so I'll show you on the district site what I've done. But that's where you could drag and drop that speaker. So see here where it says events up at the top. Like right now I'm looking at essentials, okay? Under events, here's the speaker widget that she was talking about. So you could just drag and drop right there. And there's speakers. Now, if you want to get rid of one, you click the little X and then it's gone. We actually put in you can have sponsors. So we put in a sponsor widget and then it rotates through all our sponsors. So that's what this is. So this was the speaker one. I'm going to delete that off of here. Meeting responsibilities, maybe this is what you were asking about. You know, I don't really know. I don't know what each one of these are, but that's where either ClubRunner tech support can quickly tell you. What you could do is call and say, this is what we're doing now, and 2 months in advance it sends a reminder, and they will just tell you, oh yeah, ClubRunner will do that, and this is what you need to do. See, that's a very specific question, and so I would call ClubRunner tech support on that question because it's so specific to your club. They also have what they call custom widgets, which is what we've done here on some of these, like on this welcome. So like a custom widget. Okay, so this is our custom widget right here. It says welcome. So if I click the little pencil, it's going to let me edit it. The pencil always means edit. And so this is what we put. We put our master brand logo and join us every Tuesday. You could have whatever you want in a custom widget. You can have a picture, you can have, I think you can do videos, you can do all kinds of stuff. And this is the edit right here. It looks pretty much like anything else. One of the things that people ask me several times is about images. So I'm just going to add an image to this. So right here, you click the little image box and you browse. Wait a minute, please move this one. Okay, wait a minute. It didn't show up, so I have to, okay. This is what the image box looks like. You have ClubRunner images, you have Rotary images that are locked, so it has the theme. Make sure you're using the right theme, so look at the date. This is next year's theme, so on July 1st, you know, we'll be changing our theme to this one. My images is where I've loaded the pictures I've used in like my stories and stuff like that. And so if you want to add a picture that you haven't been used, you know, that's new, you click the little upload button and you find a picture. Oh my gosh, here we'll add Sandy. Where's Sandy? Here's Sandy in her blue sweater. There she is. So there's Sandy. Okay. Now this is a really small one. So I'm going to use a different picture because y'all were asking me how to crop, you know, how to size a picture. So I'm going to pick this Easter picture because I can see it's a little bit bigger. Okay, so hang on, I got to share the screen again. Okay, So you can see that it says the width is 1,617 pixels. Well, the ClubRunner screen that you have to work with is only 600. So this won't work. This is too big, okay? So if I want the picture to be pretty much full up the whole thing, boy, this is going to be really big. I don't know. Let's see what this looks like. So if I say, okay, I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so there's that picture. I know it looks like it's not filling up the whole thing, but when you look at our club's website, it's not this wide. So it will look like that. You can make this picture, you can center it just like you would Word or anything, but that's pretty darn big. So if you wanted to write a story, that's a big picture. So if, let's say I don't want it that big, I right click on the picture and I click back to image properties. You can see this little lock became unlocked, so I want to lock it again so it locks my ratio. And I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Now the other thing is, let's say I want to type some text to the right of this picture. This is going to be part of my story. What I want to do is I want to make sure that it stays to the left or the right of the page so my text goes right next to the picture. So I see how it shows you where the text is going to show up, but it is right up next to that picture. So the other thing I want to do is I want to put some space between, so see how it put a little space between here? So when I type next to this, it's not typing on my picture. Oh. So I can say, here's our Easter egg hunt. Okay. And then you would say save and publish. Now this is not published live yet still, remember? Because I haven't published this orange box yet. So I can preview my page. And that's what it looks like right now. So if I had that picture 600, it would be out to over here because it'd be 3 times that size. Okay, so depending on, like right now, the way our theme is on our website, we have one big column and one little column to the left. Depending on what theme you can pick big all the way across. You can have 3 little columns. You can have 2 little columns. It's what you choose. We chose this one. I just think it's a clean look. So right now, this is in draft mode. This is not published yet. So obviously, I don't want to publish this, but if I did, I would click this button right here. But if I go back, it got rid of that change. That change won't be there. The other thing, it does have a tour. So you can tour how to do all this same stuff that I just talked about. I could put more widgets in. I could pull and put something above our welcome. I mean, I could do all kinds of stuff. I've just chosen not to because I don't want it to look cluttered.
So what's the best and easiest way to continually add like content and posts and photos of, you know, the
So
club's
what we've done
activities?
Is in homepage stories, and this is a widget. I think it was, see, here's homepage stories. So what happens is when I click this and I say edit, what it's doing is you can create a story library and you can have stories. And then what I do is I just choose which stories I want it to show. So actually you can see this story actually was written originally in 2018. All I did was update it for this year. I didn't rewrite the whole story. I just updated it. So if you look at your story library right now, and again, we've only been using this for a little while, but here's all our different little stories. So if I wanted to, so you could have people writing stories, and then once a week, you could have a webmaster. I would suggest not everybody have the ability to post to your website. You can let people write stories, but not necessarily change your homepage, okay? Depending on their access. So let's say I want to put this story back up there again. I just say add selected stories. I can say, well, I don't want it to be the top story. I want it to be the second one. So you can drag and drop, and then I can preview this. And so there's our Community Hero Awards, and there's our little Scouts and Library, and there it is right there. Our local projects, these two just stay there. And that would be one way to do it, where you can have people writing stories and putting them in your story library. So I'm going to remove that because I don't want that there. So let me show you what that looks like. Let me go back to admin. So what happens is if I look at my active member list right here, it will show you, you see this number 60, 30, 70, 40, all these numbers. 70 is basically plain Jane. They don't have access to do anything on the website other than update their own profile. Once you start getting into 30 has basically total access, and pretty much 40 does too. So like Barb is our PR person. So not that I've shown her how to do it, but if she wanted to write a story, she could. I can change the access level of each one of these people. I believe ClubRunner told me that they have to have at least a 60 or lower to write a story. And Greg does our Facebook page, so that's why I think I changed him to a 60. What you have to do is you click on the person. Okay, come on. It's thinking about it. Okay. And where it says settings, this is where I would edit. See, so he's an editor, so he could write a story. He couldn't post it on the homepage. He doesn't have that access. But so if you have 5 or 6 people that you want to write stories, you would change, here it is, you click edit. And this is where, so you have site administrator, president, club executive. You could even change to no access. But when you add a new person, they're a 70.
So
okay.
What's the designation for someone to be able to publish?
To publish, they would need to be, I think they need to be a 30 or a 50. I'm not sure. And we'd have to ask, you'd have to ask ClubRunner because they've changed these. This didn't used to look like this, and they've changed it, I think, this year, because I know it didn't look like that. The other thing is right here where it says login name, this is where if someone says, I don't remember my login name, you can change it for them right here. So under these settings, and then you can also change someone's password. You just click reset password right there.
So can I change my own like login name, because it's kind of difficult?
Absolutely, you can always change. So what you can do is when you go to the admin page, again, edit my profile, right there. It's going to look, I mean, it's going to bring me up instead of, and you can put what you want in here. You know, you have the information you want. There's certain information you have to include, and it has these little red, anything red has to be filled in. It won't save it otherwise. And then if someone says, I don't know my Rotary number, oh, I need to cancel. Hang on, I clicked edit. So see, it'll give you a warning box. So Rotary, here's your Rotary member number right there. Here's your club's ID number.
Where do you change your login name or user ID?
Your login is under settings.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
Login name right there. You can click edit and it'll come up and you just change your login name to something you want it to be.
Okay.
Bev, if you change your login name, does that reflect on the district login as well?
Yes, your district and your club are the same login and the same password. Not the Rotary International website. That's completely different. Okay, but ClubRunner and the district site are both the same.
Who is generally the club administrator?
It's who you assign. A lot of times it can be the secretary or the president, but a lot of times it's the webmaster. And so if your members don't have, if they're not set up the way you want, or like as president of the club, you know, if you call in, that's why I'm going to ask at Pets for everybody to give me the names of their club members. Okay, so hang on. I'm going to stop share and I'm going to show you the district website. Okay, so this is the district website. And we did a landing page for it for kind of the public. And then you go to the full district site. And this is where there's a whole bunch, there's all kinds of stuff here. These are these widgets. So like this one that I did where I said you could change the background color, I made it yellow so it would show up better. These are just 3 photos that I've put up here. You can make a photo have a link. So like this In Polio Now, if I click that, it's going to take me to the In Polio Now website. What I try to do is if I'm sending someone to an outside website, I make sure it opens in a new window. So you don't lose people from your website. This upcoming events is a widget. It's just pulling from the events planner and it's pulling all these upcoming events that we have. This is a story widget right here, just like I had on our club site. Okay. Now, when I go here, this looks a lot different. It's different than ClubRunner, but like I can look at, here's all the clubs. If it's green over here, that means you have RI synchronization turned on. And so I can see if your members are, you know, and it's already turned on for you as well. We have a few clubs that don't have it turned on and it's a pain, I can tell you that. The other thing I wanted to show you is like Boulder Flatirons. I don't think she's on. Is Ann on? No. Your club info, this is where you would update. So like Parker, here, let me find y'all. Y'all are here. You have 2 websites listed. So this one is an external, this one is ClubRunner, and this one is, well, I can click it and we can see it's taking you to Parker Rotary. Is that your current website, Parker?
Yeah, that is our current website, and we do update that through ClubRunner.
Okay, so I'm not sure why this is listed in two places. You know, it's got two here, but what you can do is where it says club info, this is where you update for all your clubs. This is where you can update where you meet, when you meet, what you want your website, you know, what your website address is. So if two are listed and make sure they're both the same, then that's great. You shouldn't have a problem. I'm not sure why. Now, I can't update this because you are a ClubRunner subscriber, so I can't edit any of this information. But that's where you find under Club Info to update your information.
What's the difference between the club administrator and the webmaster?
I don't think there's anything at the club level. As far as I know, I don't think there's anything.
So,
I think because 30 is the administrator, and when we looked at, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't like it when I switch things. 30 was what they called administrator, and then 40 was, what did we say 40 was? Let's see. We'll look and see what 40 is.
President.
40's president. Well, she's not the president. I am. So I don't know. Like I said, they changed this. These used to automatically change. So if you set someone up as secretary, they would get the secretary code. For some reason, they're not doing that now. So it's almost like you have to go in each year and change people's access. So I'm not sure why they did that. That is new to me. So anyway, this settings, so if I click edit, yeah, actually Barb could be a site administration, but you can see there's not a website. There's an editor, which again can write stories, but they can't change your web page. Mm-hmm. There's a real distinction there because you don't, I mean, each club is different. It's up to you, but to let anybody, there's too many of these there. To let anybody just be able to change your homepage. Oh no, it is there. I didn't hit publish. That should not be there. Obviously, I'll have to go back and, well, that's a question for me to ask ClubRunner on, I will have to ask ClubRunner when I'm there, why did that do that? Because that should not, oh no, that's not where it was. It was up in the top one, wasn't it? That shouldn't have saved because I never told it to save or publish. So that is a mistake on, that's an error because I didn't tell it to do that. So that's not a good thing because it shouldn't publish unless I say publish, just like that. So that's kind of scary. That's why you don't want everybody to have access to your website. You know, I think you should only have a couple people be able to actually change your website because you can see what just happened and I know what I'm doing. Can you imagine if you have 10 people just publishing all the time? So what you can do is you set some people up as an editor and then here's edit story. So a lot of these would be this like website designer would be grayed out and edit homepage links would be grayed out, but they could maybe edit the stories and they could create a new story and write stories. And then you have, like I said, a couple people, and once a week you pull in a new story. That would be how I would recommend to do it. The other thing y'all asked about were files and stuff. Under organization, this is where you list your officers. You can add new positions and stuff, or you can edit and change people. Your committees, what you do is, so we've only done one so far because I just started this again. I set up the mental health, so I added a new committee and I called it the Mental Health Initiative. Okay. And so then you add members to it, and they can be chairs or whatever. This is where you can add documents to this committee. So I added the Mental Health Awards PDF. I just said, and it looks like, see, you can add folders or you can add a new document. So this main one was a folder, and then this one is Bill Furno came out and did a presentation, so I put all of his files in there. And so that's how you can do that. You can also email members of a committee if you want to. You can have subcommittees of a committee. So this is where you have all these committee information is in here.
Can you keep like minutes and other things like that? They have to be in what, a separate PDF file?
It can be PDF, it can be Excel, it can be Word, it can be whatever you want. Yes. So you could have a committee. The other place you can put them is just under, if you really wanted to, you could put them under documents. So you could have a folder, but I think documents might be public. I think that was the difference. So rather than having them under documents, we wanted to have our stuff private, so we put it under the organization. So you could have a committee that just says meeting minutes. So add new committee, and you could say meetings, right? And the secretary maybe is the director, and you could click save. And now all of a sudden here I have another, this is another committee. And then if I wanted to have other people in here, and I could file my documents. So if I wanted my meeting minutes, so these are the, January 15th, 2019 minutes. You could do it like that. You choose a file and you pick a file.
Where are those files stored now? These are in your computer, right?
Well, I'm pulling this from my computer.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so here's the weekly agenda. There it is. I can say save, and you can see you can have any kind of file format you want, and there it is. And so it's saved under weekly. Now, the only people that can see that are the people that are in that that committee. So not everyone in your club will be able to see that unless you put them all on that committee. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete it because I don't want it there. But you can have as many committees as you want. And so whatever your organization is.
Okay, yeah, I was looking for something that the club members, access 70 and below, would be able to see things like minutes, because we get questions. We had a new treasurer and he's gotten rather anal.
Well, but you can, okay, so if you want all the club members to see it, then you can add your new committee and you put all your club members,
Okay.
you know. The other thing that you could do though is on, okay, let me move. Hang on. Webinars, on-demand video. There. Oh my gosh, it's still there. And now it's gone. Okay. The other thing you could do is have a widget. And you could say, you know, weekly, you could have minutes or something, board minutes. And you could have a link there.
Would that be open to the public though?
You can make documents. Here, I'll show you. So here's documents. So if you added a new document, so let's say, so we're gonna, we'll add a folder first, and the folder will be minutes. Okay, and you can say save. And then under that, let's say you want to add a document, and it's, you know, 02/21/19 minutes. Okay. And you can see it says requires login or public. If you choose requires login, then someone would have to use their ClubRunner login to access the file.
Even if they're already on the website as a member?
Well, they would have had to have logged into the website. Just because they click on the website doesn't mean they're logged in.
No, I know that. But if they log into the website,
Then they would be able to see it.
Okay,
Yes.
super. That's, yeah, all right. It just takes a little.
I mean, you have to set it up, but I mean,
Right.
if that's something that you really want to do, then you can do that. On the, stop share, on the district website, where's the district website go? Maybe I closed it. Hang on.
Is there any downside to putting like the club minutes and financials on ClubRunner?
Other than I wouldn't make them public, but no.
Okay.
I mean, I would make them that people log in, but other than that, no, and the only people that have access, like I don't have access to your club's files unless you give them to me. So like the Evergreen Club, Kurt Harris is the district governor-elect. They've decided to have their district conference committee. They're using Evergreen ClubRunner to hold their files. This is how I even found out you could put files on ClubRunner, because I didn't even know you could do it as a club. So they added me as an other member of their club so I could have access because I'm a member of the committee. So for me to be able to have access and see those files, they had to add me as a other member of their club.
Yeah, part of the reason I think that, you know, our club, or I had talked about this when I was secretary and I had some problems trying to do it, was that we have some continuity and questions on who did what when and those kind of things, most of which are in the minutes. And I'd like to make it available to everybody. And so if somebody has questions on what did we decide to spend on what, they can find either the foundation committee minutes or the club minutes.
Right. And so you could have one folder that says foundation minutes and another folder that says club minutes. And it takes a little organization, but once it's set in there and people are used to it, then it can be there. Absolutely. One of the reasons our club decided to add that committee organization is I have, 10 years of files on my computer that no one else has. So I'm the only person that knows about our Easter egg hunt. That's not a good thing.
Right, and that's for
Barb is the only person that knows about the Community Heroes Awards and has all the files for it. So what we're going to do, probably not this spring because I'm too busy with the conference and pets and everything, but in the summer, is get that all organized and get everybody's files on ClubRunner so everyone in the club, or at least the officers, have access to it, so that it is not, you know, I get hit by a bus, nobody has that information. That is just not a good way to work. I know a lot of people use Dropbox and Google Docs and all that other stuff, and it's just still, it's everywhere. And so we're paying for ClubRunner anyway. Why wouldn't we use it?
That's what I'm trying to convince a few other people that say, well, I'll use Dropbox. And I said, okay, now we have to use a separate, you know, we're now having how many different separate.
And the district is in the same boat. We have stuff everywhere. And the other thing with Dropbox is, and I did not know this, it's not private unless you get a business version of Dropbox. And if you go over a certain amount, all of a sudden people are having to pay $10 a month to have Dropbox. And so the district just changed to a business, so that if someone leaves the district and I take them off of Dropbox, it deletes those files off of all of their computers and everything. And because right now, all those files are on their computer, anybody can have them. So there's, so anyway, we're definitely moving, my club anyway, the district's a whole different thing, but my club is definitely moving toward putting our files and stuff on ClubRunner, because then it is all there. The district doesn't say you have to use ClubRunner. Some clubs don't use it. That's fine. You got to use what works for you. But if we're paying for ClubRunner, I see no reason why we should pay to use something else at the same time. So that's what we've done. What other, I'm trying to see, the one other thing I can suggest to you that ClubRunner suggested to me was when you are setting up your websites, don't use tables, because so many people use their phones or tablets. Tables don't transfer well when people are looking at things. So try not to use tables when you're using, when you're formatting your website, if that makes sense. I'm trying to see if there was anything else specifically. I mean, I know we've kind of gone on for a while, but are there other specific I mean, again, we can do this again for just newsletters or just websites or just, we can do other topics. ClubRunner is a beast.
I would propose that maybe we do this again for websites. This was a great overview. I learned a lot of good general information about all the different things ClubRunner could do. Mm-hmm. My main interest in it is websites, and also I love your idea of putting all these files on it as a central clearinghouse for all that information or storage.
And like I said, it wasn't my idea. I didn't even think about it until Evergreen said they were doing it. And I said, what are you talking about? And then I called ClubRunner Tech Support, and they told me why we had bought the light version and it didn't have the committee structure, so we had to upgrade. But it's worth it.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I think we must have the light version.
Oh, well, you have the light version.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up, but the document were big problems for me is trying
well,
to...
then you might have the light version. So what you can do is just call ClubRunner Tech Support,
okay,
and in 2 seconds, they'll look at your account and they can tell you. And then it was a matter of, I got a vote from my board, $7 more a month. They all said yes. And I sent an email to ClubRunner, and they changed it, and it took 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, great.
I mean, it was just nothing. Wendell is asking, is there a reason there are 2 websites for Parker? So that was part of my question. Some clubs started with a website outside of ClubRunner, you know, whatever they used, HTML or WordPress or whatever, and then they went to ClubRunner. And that's what I was saying, is you need to make sure you're only one website's coming up if someone searches for you. Now, there are 2 clubs in Parker. So Parker Cherry Creek Valley has their own website, but it has their own website URL. So if you're looking up just Parker Rotary and 2 different websites are coming up, something is wrong, and you need to, whatever you choose to use, whether it's, I mean, to me, if you're paying for ClubRunner, I don't see why you wouldn't use ClubRunner's website tool. But you need to find out what that is, and get one to go away. Because that's part of the confusion. We had an old website, and I had to have Barb, who was the only person who had access to it, get it taken down. And I don't know what she did, but she had to make it go away so that when someone entered Carbon Valley Rotary, only the current one came up, not the old one. So, but maybe it's, you know, you'd have to find out who the old webmaster was at your club, if there's more than one showing up when you Google your club. You know, and because you just want to Google it and see what comes up, you know.
Hey, Bev, who's the best resource in the district for helping us figure out how to tie all these things together? Because we're like everybody else. We have multiple websites, multiple Facebook pages, and these are things that were started by members that are not even in the club any longer. And
yeah, that's a scary thing. So for Facebook, it's the public relations chairs for the club. It's Becky. She's the one, she's doing chemo. So if you email her tomorrow, she probably won't get back to you to the end of the week, next week, because she has her last one, hopefully tomorrow.
what's her last name?
It's Miller Weinkauf. Do you have the district directory?
I don't, but I'm sure somebody does.
Well, so let me show you how to get to the district directory.
Okay.
So you go to the full district site. Under Contact Us, it says Clubs and Directories. And over on the left, here's the district directory with a date.
Okay.
Actually, I've updated it since then. So you just click on it, and this is where you have to be logged in for it to open, and then it's just a PDF. And I do it electronically because otherwise, oh, hang on, it doesn't like it when I do that. Here's the district directory. It's just a PDF, and it's got your AGs, it's got all the clubs, and then here's the god-awful org chart, and then it's in alphabetical order. So here's public relations, and here's Cher and Becky. But Becky really knows about Facebook.
Okay.
And she can tell you what to do. But if you don't have this, the other thing, does everybody have the ClubRunner app on your phone?
No.
I'm going to tell you, I'm not a phone big, okay, but the ClubRunner app, see, it says ClubRunner. The first time you use it, you get it from your Play Store or whatever. You have to log in the first time, but then it remembers you. Oh, see, it's telling me I have an older version and I need to update. So it's updating. It will bring up every member in your club, but then it will also bring up all the district executives. So you could find Becky's public relations there in this ClubRunner app. You can also find every member in every other club, as long as their information's up to date. And the only thing it doesn't have, which I keep harping on them, you can't search by last name. You have to know what club someone's in. So if I know, that Jerry's in, what are you in? Aurora Gateway. Okay. I'd have to know that you're in Aurora Gateway to find you. But, so this is, see, it pulls up all the members. So it pulled up somebody, I don't know. But then there's this little link, and so like, here's all the district executives. And so in the committee chairs and stuff. This thing is great. ClubRunner app, I'm telling you, you want to put that on your phone.
Okay.
Because then you don't have to go get the directory. It's all there. It's all there, and it stays current because it's up to date with ClubRunner.
Do they have contacts? If you hit it, does it have contact information for them, or?
It has contact information. It has address, phone number, email.
I thought I tried that before. I might have an old version because there was an old version. They've updated it, and actually they just updated it today, because I was on it yesterday and it didn't ask me to update, and today I just opened it and it said there's a new version. Okay, I'll have to go back to that then, because that's what I looked for that kind of things where it's so simple.
Well, this thing is great
that way. It gave me a name, but I couldn't get to it.
Yeah, this is a newer version. They've really improved it, and I highly recommend it. And I don't do anything on my phone except text and call, and so for me to be promoting an app is a big deal. Any other questions? We're at 8:30. I mean, for the CR app, is there a generic username and password? No, it's your username and password that you use for ClubRunner. So whatever your ClubRunner app login is, if you don't know it, I can look it up, for you. And is that for the whole Parker Club? Yep. So everyone in the Parker Club, I mean, it's just whatever your login and username is what you would use to log into the ClubRunner app.